We are about an hour's drive from Munich, Germany, in the beautiful town of Konigssee for the fifth stop on the FIBT World Cup Bobsled Tour.
Tim Singer, Shelburne, Vermont, USA.
John Morgan, Lake Placid, New York, USA.
And this is the four-man competition from Konigssee in the beautiful German Alps. And here's a look at the favorites.
Normal cast of characters on this race in Konigssee. Martin Anna from Switzerland, Todd Hayes from the United States, Alexander Zubkov from Germany, Pierre Lueders from Canada, Andre Lange in Germany will not compete, sort of resting himself for the Olympics, everybody says, but Martin Anna, he's our World Cup leader, including one gold medal in Innsbruck. Todd Hayes, he had the gold medal the last time out in Cortina. Alexander Zubkov, he's also won a gold medal in Lake Placid. Rennie Spies, one of his home tracks here in Germany. He's been extremely fast in training. Pierre Lueders, 6th in World Cup points. Likes this track at Konigssee, won a two-man world championship. Matthias Hofner, 2nd in the four-man last time out at Cortina.
So as John mentioned, Martin Annan leads the World Cup standings ahead of Lange. Todd Hayes in 4th is the overall combined leader, 2- and 4-man points together. It's been a great season for Stephen Holcomb as well for the USA. We'll also be seeing Mike Kahn, who currently sits in 15th place in the World Cup standings. Well, the athletes are warming up, and let's get a closer look at this track.
Looks like it's a straight shot. Trust me, it's not. Up at the top of the track, they have those 4 S's. Really technical to get through those S's and exit with speed. Let's listen to Rennie Spies take us down the track.
Straight, first corner, 12 its ruler, coming on the right side, steering a little bit, let him go.
Here come the S's.
Stand above on the left side, now the S combination, first corner, S2, S3 a little further, steering down the straight.
Listen to his voice.
Now 2 pushes, before Jena, Indiana, now into the Kreiser. Pressure increases, and now exit Kreiser in the rubber end, and now into the tilt shine, into the C curve, over 110 meters per hour, into the finish corner, now the straight, and the finish corner.
Germany's Rennie Spies, kind enough to give us an exciting tour down this track in Konigssee, and when we return, Spies and the rest of the world will face the Americans and the Canadians in search of medals.
The worst enemy of your car's engine is sludge. Here's how you can prevent it. Hi, I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor. This is another Castrol Car Care Minute. Grimy sludge is a direct result of engine neglect, which could cost you a new engine. But by using a quality oil like Castrol GTX, you can prevent sludge altogether. Castrol GTX is specially formulated to give maximum sludge protection compared to other leading oils. By using a quality oil and changing it every 3,000 miles or 3 months, whichever comes first, you can prevent deposits from ever happening in the first place. Also, make sure your engine is running at the proper temperature. The easiest and most accurate way to check engine temperature is to use a computer scan tool. With proper engine temperature, regular oil changes, and quality oil like Castrol GTX, sludge won't stand a chance. I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor. This has been another Castrol Car Care Minute.
So, Jill, let me get this straight. You and Jack just fell down a hill, and you're on your way to the emergency room. You want a money now loan, and you need it fast before Jack passes out from his head wound, but you don't have your W-2s. Well, you're in luck. All I need to see is your last pay stub of the year, analyze your tax information, and you'll have your check in no time. Here's your money now loan check, and don't forget your payoff.
Introducing the all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe with available features like a power remote liftgate, power release fold and tumble second row seats, and rear view camera system. Chevy Tahoe, an American revolution.
It's time for hero life. This is the time to fight the hardest part for
The FIBT on Speed is being brought to you, as always, by Chevrolet and American Revolution. Chevrolet is proud to be a sponsor of the United States Olympic team. The athletes are getting ready for the second run. John, earlier, the first heat took place.
Martin Annan, 5th place. Surprising with that start time. He's back at 5th. Best start at the top of the track. Didn't carry the speed through the S-curves. He's looking at a medal, though. Team Todd Hayes currently in 4th place. Hayes had a great 2nd place start time. He also had some difficulty with the speed out of the S-curves. He's looking for a medal, though, and Rennie Spies, as you would expect on a track that he's so familiar with, he's currently in 3rd place. These sleds are all separated by about 0.12 of a second, though. Team Alexander Zubkov included. Didn't get the start time that he usually gets as he got when he won the event in Lake Placid. But here he's in silver medal position with a good drive down the track. Big surprise there. Pierre Luters. He won the 2-man on this track. And here in the 4-man, he was the first guy down, used the fresh ice, posted the best time. He's our leader after Heat 1. He's going for a double gold.
It's been an incredible weekend for Pierre Luters, who also won a world championship on this track a few years ago. Hayes, as you see, sits in 4th place. The split times are very tight, as these sleds will jockey for position in run number 2. Stephen Holcomb also in the top 10 for the USA, and Mike Kahn, whom we'll see early here in run 2, sits in 15th place. There's a look at the jury. They'll keep a close eye on the racing and the equipment utilized during this and every World Cup race. John, here's how the second run goes.
You're looking at the brakes. They can only be applied during the race, but it's according to your seating in the first run, and the second run it's according to your result, 20th place to 1. Here's our maximum height, width, length. Just like NASCAR, these sleds are very standardized.
Now we move to the top of the track for the first sled here in run number 2.
Jürgen Loacker, Götzes, Austria. Und das ist mein Team.
Leonhard Bergmüller.
Johannes Wipplinger.
And actually, John, while we were in our little pregame warm-up here, this driver and his crew took the very early lead in run number 2. So their split times, which we'll see on the lower right side of the screen in a moment, are the times that the Austrian sled will be trying to better in this 2-run combined time competition.
This is about normal for Loacker. High teens, low 20s, doesn't make the cut all the time. 4:94 start time in the first run, 4:96 there. That's not bad, but we're going to see some people get the start times way down into the low 80s by the time this competition's over.
In fact, Loacker is yet to break the top 20 in 4-man this season, although he had an exciting 5th place finish in 2-man in Lake Placid.
That qualified him for the Olympic Games according to the Austrian selection process. There's 2 different processes the Austrians go through, like many countries. They have certain standard qualifications that their National Olympic Committee forces on them. And then, of course, they got to qualify in the top 21 on the World Cup circuit in points in 2 or 4 to go through the FIBT standard.
Little skid down there at the bottom, but they had a 0.12 lead at the last split, and they hang on to take the lead by 0.09 of a second. So we are just getting started here, but the first of 3 American sleds is getting set to go when we return. It's the USA's Michael Kahn holding on to very, very slim Olympic hopes. Doesn't look good for Kahn, but he'll try to finish his season strong.
February 10th, NASCAR is back. Speed Weeks on Speed. 10 days, 70 hours, and the most Speed Weeks coverage ever. From a tribute to the legendary Dale Earnhardt to the season opener of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Plus the premiere of the ultimate pre-race show, NASCAR Race Day. It's a 10-day blowout on the eve of the Daytona 500. Speed Weeks on Speed. Coverage cranks up February 10th, 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Matt Risley is a professional motorcycle technician, and life's good.
I absolutely love what I do.
Matt is living his dream. You can too, with training from Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. At MMI, you'll train on the bikes you love to ride.
Life with me is cool right now. I've got lots of awesome toys and a job I really like.
Call right now to receive a free information kit. Start your new career today. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
A Dell Media Center PC is an exciting way to bring all your favorite pictures, music, and movies together in one place. It's easy to organize and share photos with family and friends, create slideshows, and print beautiful pictures. You can also listen to, organize, and archive your favorite music, or take it on the road with a Dell MP3 player. Or bring your movies to life on a crystal clear, award-winning Dell LCD monitor. Dell Media Center PCs give you the entertainment experience you want from your PC. Call now and get an awesome Dell Dimension E510 with Windows XP Media Center Edition for just $599. You'll also get a free printer and free shipping if you order online. And ask how Dell On Call can help you get the most out of your PC experience. A Dell Media Center PC. It's more than a PC that does it all. It's a Dell.
Back here on a beautiful but cold day in Konigssee, Germany. As you can see, the Fahrenheit temperature is in the high teens. It should make for some pretty good competition, though. Our next sled.
Michael Kahn, Chantilly, Virginia, USA. This is my team.
Alex Sprague.
Randy Jones.
Garrett Hines.
Kahn talked about missing out on this year's Olympic qualifying.
It's very frustrating, but we'll get ready for next year, and I know that the potential's there. You just have to get strong, get healthy, and get ready for next time. That's all I can do.
Good attitude. He's got 2 silver medal Olympians in the back of his sled, Garrett Hines and Randy Jones, and there's a question whether or not either one of those guys will be selected to the U.S. Olympic team. One of those guys will go, and USA 1 and 2 will go.
Not to mention Alex Sprague out of Indianapolis, and the number 2 man in the sled, who has been loyal to Kahn in 2 and 4 man all season long.
Right now, Mike Kahn in that difficult S straightaway, he's got a 10/100 lead. Now, the green and the red tells you everything about the sport. Green tells you he's in the plus, the red, of course, tells you he's in the back. And that -10's gone down to -3. And he's gonna have to have this Podium sled perfect on this tricky bottom part of the track. But he will stop the bleeding, went from -3 to -4. There's our Austrians in the box looking on, and Mike Kahn and team comes through -12. So the Podium sled does what it usually does on the bottom part of most tracks. It accelerates away with good performance at the high-speed part of the track.
138.54 as the Americans take the lead, and here comes our next sled.
Lee Johnston from Whitby, living in Taunton, Great Britain. And this is my team.
Cal Johnston. Dan Humphreys. Martin Wright.
Sean, if you want to talk about consistent mediocrity in 4 4-man races this year, this pilot has finished 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th.
And there's a good chance of him not going to the Olympic Games in 4-man. The British have told him he needs a top 12 finish in this event or the event next up in St. Moritz, or he won't go. He thought his D-Day was the last event in Cortina. He needed to finish in the top 15. He didn't, but they've extended him 2 more events to prove his worthiness. He's in now in the 2-man competition. That's because he finished in the top 10 of the World Championships last year.
This British sled was tied with the American sled at the bottom after the last run. As you can see, they've fallen 800ths off the pace here.
And this is where the American sled really accelerated away. He's losing more time back to Mike Kahn. Him and his team, Kahn, looks on.
And they do not do it. The Americans will move up 1 spot as this British sled moves back 2.
Hard to figure out where you lose 1/1300ths of a second.
So they will try to prove themselves 1 more time at the next race in St. Moritz, Switzerland. Possibility that the British team will not send a sled to the Olympic Games.
That'd be the first time since the inception of bobsledding at the 24 games. That's pretty shocking.
2 sleds in a row now coming up, representing Italy.
Well, they're trying to get ready for the Olympic Games. Tosini, the veteran who's been sliding for about 8 years, never been on the podium. And they really don't have a home track advantage like the Americans had in Salt Lake. The American track in Salt Lake, Park City, you opened up in March of 1997. The Americans had 1,000 trips down it apiece. And it proved out with the results, with the gold medal in women's bob, the gold medal in women's skeleton, men's skeleton, silver and bronze medal in the four-man competitions. The Italians have barely got on that track in Italy.
You were in Torino for the World Cup race, the test event last year. I didn't make that race. How did the Italians do?
They were like they are here. They're high single digits, early teens, start time deficiencies. 5:01 start. You can't do anything with a deficient start time, especially Torino is a very, very technical track.
Doesn't matter how many Italian flags are waving.
Doesn't matter, and it's not about 1,000 trips to end. You have to have a start time to compete. Look at this. Beautiful exit out of the S's, carrying speed, dead heat with Mike Kahn at the bottom. Now, this will tell us that the next clock coming up, if he's within single digits red, he'll have a chance in the bottom. And he's in single digits green. But this is where Kahn was pretty smooth in his Bodine sled. And now it's -5 to -4.
It's going to be very tight.
Skid there, though. That's going to cost him dearly. Speed in the left is not as good as Kahn's, but he has enough.
0.03 of a second as a point of comparison. They had a 0.13 lead over the Americans before that run, so Kahn had the definitely better second heat, but not enough to hang on as the Italians move up.
Tossini needs a better start time, or he's just going to be looking on from the 10th or 12th position at the games.
Will not be a good thing to happen in your home country.
Well, the United States was the first country to win a medal at the Olympics, the host country, since the Austrians in '64. So it's not easy for these countries to come out here. It's a Germany and Switzerland type sport. There's the speed. You see Johnson had good speed. Tossini in second. But that sled went up and down there in that Kreisel, that big 270-degree whip around. And he'll have another day.
And we'll have much more coming up when we return to Konigssee as the four-man continues.
Tuesday night on Speed. First, Two-Wheel Tuesday.
This show is packed.
Then, Texas Hardtails, followed by Corbin's Ride On.
Well, that's about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on.
Then, V-Twin Motorcycle TV, and later, the Motocross Files. It all begins Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, on Speed.
Out here, I can take on anything. Any car, any driver, any track.
Peak Global Lifetime Antifreeze can protect any engine in any make, any model, anytime. It's the only antifreeze backed by a lifetime guarantee. Just flush it, fill it, and forget it.
I'm tough enough to take on anything and fast enough to get away with it.
Get the only antifreeze that's guaranteed for life. Peak Global Lifetime.
When you peak, you win.
What are you setting your sights on? And when you see it, will you be ready? Just pick up the phone, dial 1-800-645-ARMY, and you'll get this free DVD. You'll learn about the hundreds of opportunities the Army can offer you. Skills, education, healthcare. Call 1-800-645-ARMY, and you'll also get this free boonie hat. Whatever you're looking for, the Army can help you find it.
Introducing the all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe. With available features like a power remote liftgate, power release fold and tumble second row seats, and rear view camera system. Chevy Tahoe, an American revolution.
Back here in Konigssee, the Canadians have the lead after the first run of competition, and their driver's fan club is on hand to root him in run number 2. John, it's been a huge weekend already for Lueders.
Well, he's got a great fan club here because one of his parents were born in Germany. He speaks fluent German. Got a fan club up in Winterberg. He won the event two-man yesterday, and he was excited. It was his first gold of the season, and he's on course here to do it again.
Getting set mentally, at least, for his run a little later on here as he tries to capture another gold medal. But the race continues with another Italian team. Driver Simone Bertazzo had a huge four-man competition in Lake Placid. That was exciting no matter what country you root for.
Yeah, it finished in third. Italians' first medal of any kind. There's the Italians at the bottom, the leader, Tossini. First Italian medal since, I think,
Huber.
January 98.
Right.
So what he did was, you know,
February, the Olympics, perhaps.
probably in the World Cup, so you had to go January 98, and then Huber retired. The Italians have been looking at the podium, not getting on it since then, and of course Todd Hayes crashed in that race, which paved the way for him to get the third. But since then, wallowing. Who gets in first here? Let's see if there's Canadian or if there's Italian proficiency here in both sleds. Looks pretty simple. Looks pretty much the same. The only thing difference in these two sleds is one's got a black helmet, the other one's got a blue.
Big lead at that split. John, during that point of view, as we see those bumps, we saw the ropes used for steering. How touchy are they?
That's not the guy who steers the most that wins. It's the guy who steers the least. Minute steering gets you on and off these corners. Track like Cortina, you really got to pull the D-rings or the steering ropes as they call them. And here, it's about letting the sled go, especially the four-mans. The two-mans are like a sports car. Four-mans like a runaway truck. You can get that sports car in trouble, and you can put your foot in the accelerator and get it back out of trouble. Four-mans, it's hard to get them into trouble, but once you do, you can't get them back.
One Italian team overtakes another Italian team by a wide margin. In fact, Bertazzo's run was the best of the heat, perhaps putting the pressure on the next few sleds. There won't be a medal for the Italians today, but not a bad showing.
Let's see who goes up high. Look at the runner grooves, then who's going up high or low. More consistency on the Italian on the right, and that's why he's the leader.
Dawid Kupczyk, Kowary, Polska. This is my team. Michał Zblaski, Mariusz Latkowski, Marcin Pacheta.
Kupczyk and crew are having a surprisingly decent season. They've been top 20 in every race, including 2 top 15s from a nation that really hasn't made any noise in this sport.
All track and field athletes, recruited 6 years ago. The pilot's father is the coach of the team. And, you know, Poland's always got great track and field athletes. Decent start times, 4:92 in the first run.
Only a 300ths lead over the Italian team that has the lead down at the bottom after the first run.
Well coached. When you come out 4:92 in the first, 4:92 in the second, that's consistency. That's what bobsledding is all about. And they have good coaching. They have a track and field coach from the Polish national track and field team. And these guys steadily improve, Tim. I really think their nemesis is equipment. They've got a decent amount of start time. I don't think they got the cash to buy the really good equipment. They're driving a Dresden sled, 3 or 4 years old. But then after the sled, as you and I both know, it's about runners. And he's going to have to be perfect. He's +7 to +9, losing more time, and he's got a skid in that straightaway. This does not look good for the Poles.
75-mile-an-hour speed, not nearly the best we've seen so far. They do put down the second best run of the time, but not nearly enough. Shows you how good that Italian run was just before them. Drums are playing, the fans are going nuts.
Martin Galliker, Muhen, Schweiz. Das ist mein Team. Mario Vollart, Alexander Streltsov, Jörg Egger.
And John, the reason the fans are going nuts is because they love almost a national sport, bobsledding in Switzerland.
Especially in winter. Track in St. Moritz is the birthplace of the sports, where we're going next week for our second to last World Cup season. And the Swiss come with the bells and the flags and the fan clubs, and it's a passion. You know, we're seeing the Rugs, they're coming up, one of the Rugs, and, you know, I used to compete against the father and the uncle, and, you know, this guy Gallagher's starting to make a little noise.
Actually only appeared in 2 four-man races this season. He's had a 14th and a 10th place finish, but clearly that is noise.
He's really dominated the Europa Cup circuit, which is the second circuit, where they got 40, 50 sleds in the thing constantly. He's been in the top podium position for 2 years. Now he's making a break onto the World Cup circuit in 4-man, not 2-man. And the start, front and the back, who gets in? Swiss precision and efficiency always at the start. 489 in the first heat. That was pretty consistent there. He's got a 400s lead now and pretty smooth. That bump right here is natural. With Net S, that's the way you have to go through that straight section. Pretty violent up and down there in the Kreisel, and the heads are slapping back and forth, and that's friction, but he's got it up to -5.
Now 122 kilometers an hour on your lower left is what you're looking for this sled to take the lead. 121.4.
That's
it's
not
be
what
very tight.
Yeah, not what the Italians had. Lost some time And there it is, dead heat.
0.00. That means the team on your right, the team on your left are tied to the 100th of a second.
And this is something going on with these Swiss kids because they're celebrating. They maintain their position. They saw currently first. I don't think
that's all that they saw, right? They don't have the split time.
They don't have the split time. They realize that they're tied, but that's still a big deal for them.
So as the graphic says, we've got a tie for first place. We've still got 10 sleds remaining, including the Americans coming up next. Steve Holcomb and crew getting set to take down this track in Konigssee.
Wednesday night on Speed. First, Pinks.
Here I am, buddy. Let's race. Do I look worried?
Then, Unique Whips.
You know what I'm saying? Unique style.
Followed by Build or Bust.
I can do this.
Begins Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, only on Speed.
A standard power rear liftgate. One more reason Cadillac SRX has been named Car and Driver's Best Luxury SUV 2 years running.
What's under the hood of today's cars? State-of-the-art engines, sophisticated computer technology, drivetrains, electrical systems, hydraulics. Sound good? Then you're ready to live your passion and accelerate your future at Universal Technical Institute. At UTI campuses across the country, you'll get the training you need to launch your career as an automotive or diesel technician. Training that's customized to fit your learning style. And get this, financial aid is available for those who qualify. Our strategic relationships with leading manufacturers means training on all the cars you dream about. Cars like Ford, Audi, Porsche, Volvo, Toyota, Jaguar, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, International, Volkswagen. These manufacturers all come to UTI for skilled technicians. But here's the best part. The demand for trained technicians is huge and will be for years to come. Call UTI today. Live your passion. Accelerate your future. Universal Technical Institute.
Available satellite navigation, standard XM satellite radio, and OnStar. 3 more reasons SRX has been named Car and Driver's Best Luxury SUV 2 years running.
Huge crowd here in Konigssee, as there always is at a bobsled race in Germany. Tim Singer and John Morgan back here for the FIBT World Cup 4-man competition. 2 teams tied for the lead at the bottom, and here come the Russians at the top.
Евгений Попов, Красноярск, Россия. Это моя команда.
Петр Макарчук. Егоров Филипп. Алексей Андрюнин.
Well, Russia, they have 2 teams that are always in the top 10. Popov is the second place team, and start time 49 in the first run. The other Russian team starts in the low 80s. Doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot.
But all the same, Popov is ranked number 5 in the world in the 4-man standings, thanks to some consistent placings.
He was Russia 1. I tell the story till November 2002. Had a bad crash in Altenburg, Germany. Sent him home with a concussion. And I don't think he's been the same bobsled pilot since. Zubkov went flying by him. Zubkov won the World Cup title last year. Popov got relegated to the second sled in the second crew. And his 5th place finish in the World Cup tells you that he's quietly coming up. But now he's going to have to be perfect down here. He's lost his lead. He's at 100th of a second. And the 122 kilometers is going to be important. And he does nowhere near that. +4. These guys in the winner's box are going to like this result.
Indeed they do. As the Russian sled falls 900ths of a second behind them, Valeri, team manager and federation member, certainly disappointed up at the top, 138.22.
That speed on the bottom left, we tell you, 122 kilometers of a chance. And the winner's box, there better not be any more ties. There's no more room.
Steve Holcomb, Park City, Utah, USA. This is my team. Bill Schiffenhauer, Kurt Thomas Evans, Lorenzo Smith.
And we spoke with Holcomb about his standing after the first run, 9th place.
Yeah, I'm real confident in my driving right now. I'm real confident in what I do, and I take my first run, and it's usually okay, but then I know I kind of fix my mistakes and come back and do well the second run. So I'm looking forward to the next run. I think we can move up some spots. It's going to be tough. The guys are right behind me, and they're really we're fighting for I think 9th place. We're tied, so it'll be interesting to move up, but I think we can do it. So.
Behind Holcomb in the sled, Bill Schiffenhauer, the Olympic medalist, just moved to the Holcomb sled from Ogden, Utah. Then Tomas Sevich is from Lincoln, Nebraska. Lorenzo Smith out of Illinois.
Yeah, Lorenzo's a West Point grad, part of the Army program. And start time, Holcomb's just been doing great in the two-man.
Strong athlete.
Two-man competition, he moved up into the top 10. Push bars out, dangerous. Push bars, that's in now.
John, did you
But look at that, he went from -5 to 0-0. I'm telling you now, someone had to reach up and get that push bar in, and that is relative to that -5 to 0-0. Now he's +5, and doesn't matter now, the Bodine sled, you can point it in the right direction, but he lost that speed up top.
Steve Holcomb, the former ski racer, who's actually legally blind, wears contact lenses, making a run towards his first Olympic appearance, but he falls 100th of a second back at that last split.
Yeah, it was +5 to +1, still at +1. The speed on the left is going to be important. 121.4,
no,
that's not the speed that you want to have. It's still going to be close. +4, nope. So
there's a party going on down in the leader box.
They're going to start bringing out the champagne or the Weissbier here in Germany.
138.17, so Steve Holcomb and company will fall back at least one spot there, or two spots rather.
Yeah, the push bar up top. Down here he brought it back, but the Bodine sled didn't have the speed on the bottom part of the track. There's our standings. He's 400ths down.
Making their World Cup debut in four-man competition.
Karl Angerer, Berchtesgaden, Deutschland. Das sind meine Bremser.
Andi Utvari.
Daniel Gärtner. Benjamin Mielke.
And Angerer did race in the two-man. That was his first ever race, had an 11th place finish. Berchtesgaden, he said, is his hometown. That's actually the next town over for here. And what an exciting weekend for these guys.
He's got a big contingent on hand. Dominated the Europa Cup circuit like that Swiss driver we talked about. Gallagher, and start time for this, but boy, the Germans are really high in this kid. They're saying the next 4 years you're going to see a lot of him. We've already seen a lot of Andre Long on the last 8 years, and we've seen a lot of Germans actually in our bobsled careers, Tim. And -3, he lost a little time at the start.
Germany, like most nations, but more than most nations, the driver recruits his entire team. So this is a fresh team from front to back.
-3 to 0-0-0. Lost some time back relative to the start. Bottom part of the track. You think this is being his home track? He would have the fine line to get through these labyrinth curves. He does. It's up to -9. Now you're seeing some home track advantage. If those times are true, we're going to see 122-kilometer-plus speed. There it is. 122.6. This will be the leader, and he will be an excited German athlete.
And the crowd waves goodbye down at the bottom. Karl Angerer, Germany #3, take over the lead. They are going nuts down here at the finish line. 137.92 is the time. We still have 7 sleds remaining. We'll be back to Konigssee in a moment. Let's celebrate with the Germans.
It's about talent.
And he wins it!
Sportsmanship.
Bobby Allison with his son in second.
And fame. Speed Driver of the Year. Only the best earn the title. Log on to speedtv.com now and cast your vote for Speed's Driver of the Year.
Give me a bottle of the best you got. The best thing out there, Zentex. Give you better gas mileage, more horsepower.
So, you know how to change your own oil, big guy?
Yeah, every 3,000 miles.
Nice.
Available nationwide at these fine retailers.
Who's up next? Give me that pink slip!
You have lost your vehicle.
One last final race.
This is the first time this has ever happened on Pink. Let's race.
Let's do it!
Pigs. Season 2 premieres this February only on Speed.
Would you like to lower your mortgage payments up to 35%?
I could reduce my monthly payments? Tell me how.
Introducing Smart Choice, the home loan exclusively from Quicken Loans. Whether you're buying a new home or refinancing, Smart Choice is the answer. Here's an example. A traditional 30-year loan for $200,000 at 7% interest would be $1,330 a month. But with Smart Choice, that same loan would be an amazingly low $850 a month. That's a difference of over $5,700 a year.
That's good news. So what are we waiting for?
Call toll-free now and see how you can lower your monthly payments up to 35%. The Smart Choice Loan. It's great for refinancing or for purchasing that new home. You get monthly payment flexibility, so you can decide to pay just interest or make payments to principal whenever you want. Call this toll-free number now or go to quickenloans.com to get started and lower your mortgage payments up to 35%. But don't wait. Take advantage today while rates are still low.
Well, the devil made me do it. No, that's actually the fan club for Matthias Hoppner. The Germans have the lead at the bottom, and they're up again.
Matthias Höpfner, Riesa, Deutschland. Das ist mein Team.
Ronny Listner, Mark Kühne,
Andreas Barucha.
Four-man Bob results so far. Not very good in Calgary. Very suspect in Lake Placid. Going through the motions in Eagles. I don't know what happened. Cortina, he won the gold in the 2, silver in the 4.
Likes that tough track.
He won the silver in the 2-man yesterday. It's all of a sudden the light bulb went on when the tour moved to Cortina. And he's fighting for a spot on the Olympic team. Rennie Spies, who's coming up in a couple more sleds, and him have got this race and the next race to figure out who's Germany 2 going to Torino. They will only take one pilot.
Story within a story as we take a look at the comparison of the two sleds.
Not a very good start in the first run, 491. Not a very good start in 2-man either, but he's flying in 2-man. He has been a big question mark.
Talk about the differences in the equipment between a 2-man and a 4-man if you're at the steering wheel.
Well, the 4-mans just go. You can really, they really point themselves in the direction they want to go in. It's really hard to quick turn them.
They don't crash as much.
When this 4-man gets out of control, you better get underneath that Cadillac quickly because it's going to go in the direction it wants to go in. A 2-man sports car, you can play with that. But these things, look at the speed, 120.16. That's not very good speed. Coach Wolfgang Hoppe looking on. German in the box. And wow, this is a big upset.
So the young hometown team betters the veteran World Cup medalist.
Wow, not what Matthias Hoppner wanted. He finished with a gold in the 2-man at Cortina, silver in the 4-man, silver in the 2-man yesterday, and then this. And you can see the body language. This didn't do a lot for his Olympic hopes.
Well, we've seen 2 German sleds, only 1 of 3 Swiss sleds, but sled number 2 is coming up now. Getting set at the start.
Ich bin Ivo Rüegg, Ducke, Schweiz, und das ist meine Mannschaft. Andreas Gees, Roman Hancin, Christian Eble.
And John, more than any other nation, you see these names of the crew members, Hanchin and Cedric Grand, who will come up in a moment. The crew members, as we look at the team at the lead at the bottom, in Switzerland stick around together. They're very loyal to the program regardless of the driver.
Other national heroes in Switzerland, they get to hang out on their home track in St. Moritz. And Tim, we both know that's not a bad place to hang out.
No, not at all.
22
wow.
hundredths lead, big start time, 484. Now we're starting to see the athleticism of 4-man bobsledding. The next 5-6 sleds come up here. We're all going to have these big-time starts and results at the bottom.
Best speed at the top there by a half a kilometer. That's no small margin here in the straightaway towards the Kreisel.
In a 2-man, you could lose the time back. 4-man, it's pretty hard to get these things out of the line that they get into. Down here, the 2-man gets a lot of problems down here in the labyrinth. Here, all you got to do is to make it into that counter curve out of the labyrinths. Now look for the magical 122-kilometer speed. He's lost time back.
Oh,
121.6. He's going to lose time back, but he's got a lot of time in the bank relative to that start time. Should be the leader.
By 16th of a hundredth, he is the leader. So it is Swiss number 2, Ivo Rüegg, in the lead, 137.76 for the 2 runs.
And he's getting some Olympic qualifications in. I think this might be it. I think there's standards that the Swiss Federation and National Olympic Committee set, and they might have met them just now.
From one Swiss sled to another up at the top.
Anne Martin, Hart, Schweiz. Und das ist meine Mannschaft, Thomas Landparter. Beat Hefti, Silber.
And Beat Hefti is also a veteran of the Olympics. The two-man competition, as we look at how Anna has done, not bad this year, a fifth, a fourth, a gold, and a silver. And John, really, he's just one two-man race crash away from perhaps being the overall World Cup leader.
He's our World Cup leader now. Start time 4:80 in the first run, only 200ths off the start record. Driving a Reich sled, Christian Reich, former Swiss bobsledder, now coaching the Monaco team. He sells equipment, and he's got about 8 sleds out on the circuit, but watch these 4 guys start the sled. 4.80 in the first run. Look how quickly they get in, and the athleticism, the way they get in, get down. 4:78, that ties the start record. Whoa, look at the way these guys jump onto the side of these little bales, they called, and get in. With cat-like efficiency, then they gotta get down with aerodynamic precision. Annan, though, has not had this sled steered in the right line on the exit of Chrysler. He's lost all sorts of speed. With that type of start time, he should be up there challenging for the gold.
Well, he had a 700ths lead over his teammate after run number 1. Let's see this latest split. It reveals 300ths, meaning he's losing a bit of time despite the fast start.
Won't see 122 kilometers. He's down to even. This is going to be tight. There's 121.7, but that's better speed than Rook.
Just better.
So this is going to be another one to 100th, and Martin Annan, look at the expression for Rook's face. He's lost to Annan 2 or 3 times this year.
There's a little competition within the Swiss
program.
They're
fighting for Swiss #1, the Olympics, which is huge prestige in the Swiss media.
So there's a look at the 2-run times. Switzerland #1 has the lead. We take one more look at their replay and the current standings and throw it to the break. But I tell you, when we return, we're due for some excitement. USA #1, 4th place, looking to win a medal.
Let's get tough. CLR tough. CLR is #1 for a reason. It works. CLR's enhanced formula works 5 times faster, takes less effort, and cleans better than the competition. 5 times. CLR, a name you've trusted for over 20 years for cleaning your clogged or slow-running shower head, rust around the faucet, dissolving rust and calcium buildup in your dishwasher and washing machine. CLR will make your coffee maker run like it's new again. CLR is great for removing stains on vinyl siding, cement, and porcelain. Tough-acting enhanced formula CLR has natural ingredients and even more cleaning power. CLR, #1 for a reason. It works. And we guarantee it for your money back. CLR is available at fine retailers everywhere.
Love motorcycles? Thinking about a career as a motorcycle technician? Here are 5 reasons to call Motorcycle Mechanics Institute right now. 1. MMI works with the industry's top manufacturers. 2. You'll train hands-on with the bikes you love to ride. 3. MMI will help you find a great job after you graduate. 4. You can graduate in just over a year. And 5. MMI has campuses in Phoenix, Arizona, and Orlando, Florida. Call right now to receive a free information kit. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
Introducing the all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe. With available features like a power remote liftgate, power release fold and tumble second row seats, and rear view camera system. Chevy Tahoe, an American revolution.
Here in Konigssee, late in run number 2, USA is up next, sitting in 4th place.
Todd Hayes, Del Rio, Texas, United States. This is my team.
Pavle Jovanovic. Steve Messler. Brock Kreitzberg.
And it's time now for our Bodine bobsled moment and a look at an exciting race coming up on Speed.
I'm going to have a bobsled race in Lake Placid and get a few of my NASCAR buddies involved as a fundraiser for the Bodine Bobsled Project.
Podium went out and built 10 identical sleds, tested them in Lake Placid November 8th, invited 10 of his buddies to the first ever Chevrolet Jet Podium Bobsled Challenge on the historic track in Lake Placid, New York. And what a competition it was. Kevin LePage, Joel Kaufman, Brad Knopfslinger, Stanton Barrett, Todd Bodine, Boris Sapp, Steve Park, Tim Fedewa, and Dick Trickle maintained his reputation as an exciting driver, although this wasn't one of his most perfect runs. They had a fundraiser that night, auctioned off a bunch of items, and entertainment provided by Cowboy Crush. You can watch the whole program on Speed February 4th, 2 to 4 p.m. For more information, go to BodineBobsled.com.
So we look forward to that race from Lake Placid, but the racing's getting exciting now as USA 1, Todd Hayes and crew are on the track.
482 in the first run, 481 in the second run. There's the Swiss, Martin Annen at the bottom looking on. The Bodine sled in the first run. Hayes had a little skid at the top of the track, and that put him in the 4th position.
Behind Hayes is Jovanovic from Toms River, New Jersey, Messler from Buffalo, and Kreitzberg out of Akron, Ohio.
And Brock Kreitzberg making his debut with the Hayes team. He's had a good back of the sled for Steve Holcomb all year, and Hayes picked him up into the USA 1 sled. And Hayes is flying on the bottom part of this track.
The Bodine sleds you talked about, John.
They fly at the high-speed part of the track. If they can maintain their pace to that point, 122.1, that 122 is a magical time. And look at that, quarter of a second. And the Swiss just say, what did they do? That was a good run.
48.86, by far the best run of the heat. By far the lead for the time being. John, they may put the pressure on the next few sleds.
This was the heat that Todd Hayes wanted to have in the first run. He's been talking about having problems up in the S's all week long. The 2-man especially. Here, the 4-man was pointed straight. And the Del Rio, Texas native puts up hook'em horns and runs to the winner's box.
Here comes the last of 3 German sleds.
René Spieß, Winterberg, Germany. Das sind meine Anschieber. Christoph Heider. Enrico Kühn. Alexander Metzger.
And earlier, as we take a look at René Spieß's stats, he's only raced in 2 of the 4 races this year, but done quite well with a 3rd and a 4th place. John, earlier you were talking about the race within the race, the 2 German sleds. Yesterday in the 2-man, Spieß was in medal contention and fell back.
And Hoffner moved ahead of him in Olympic points, but here today, if he beats Hoffner, Spieß moves up the leader's board, and look who gets in first. Spieß is in earlier than Hayes. It looks like the Germans are down quicker than the Americans, but the Americans had a better start time.
And Spieß only had a 200ths lead over the Americans after run number 1.
And he's down 1400ths a lot. Now this is where Hayes was perfect on the bottom. Spieß knows this track as good as anybody in the field, but they're slapping of the heads. Look at this heads are going back and forth, left to right. That's in a transitionary part of the curve.
Stop the bleeding, as you like to say, from 14 to 12.
If he has a 122.5 speed, he might have a chance here on the bottom part of this track. He doesn't have it, and this could be Todd Hayes moving up into at least a bronze medal position, and he does.
Yes, 48.99 for the German sled. A little grimace from Wolfgang Hoppe up top before the thumbs up. So really that first reaction was the honest one. The USA has captured a medal. Germany 1 falls back a spot.
Hayes had a fantastic run, put himself now into at least a bronze medal position. He might even move up another spot.
Only 2 sleds remain here. The crowd cheers for Spieß. He cheers right back. The final 2 come up as you check out the standings.
Tuesday night on Speed. First, Two Wheel Tuesday.
This show is packed.
Then, Texas Hardtails, followed by Corbin's Ride On.
Well, that's about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on.
Then, V-Twin Motorcycle TV, and later, the Motocross Files. It all begins Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, on Speed.
Hooters is opening a new casino and hotel in Las Vegas, and you can be there for a super party. While you're catching playoff action at Hooters, give us a call and make reservations to watch the big game in Vegas. And if you can't come, watch the big game at Hooters. At halftime, from every Hooters location, we'll give away a 2-night stay for 2 at the Hooters Casino. And who knows, maybe you'll get lucky. Well, not that lucky.
As a proud Earthlink employee, I swear I'll do my part to help protect you from bad internet.
Spam, viruses,
Fisher sites,
pop-ups everywhere.
Things that waste your time.
I promise we're going to give you good tools to protect your children.
Spam blocker, spyware blocker, pop-up blocker, virus blocker.
Free blocking tools, free protection features, Earthlink High Speed. Offers starting at $19.95 a month for 6 months.
I promise you speed.
It's like lightning.
Earthlink is blazing fast.
Move to Earthlink, and I'll do all I can to get you a high-speed internet. It goes up to 70 times faster than dial-up.
I would say that a geek gets it done and a nerd doesn't, and we're geeks.
I love working for Earthlink.
And when you call Earthlink customer support, I promise to treat your problems like my problem.
Performance, control, protection. That's better internet. Offers starting at $19.95 a month for 6 months. For more information, call 866-800-2199 or visit these retailers. Earthlink revolves around you.
The bobsledding is getting exciting in the push towards the Torino Olympic Games, and for all the information, results, stats, even streaming videos, you can check it all out on bobsleigh.com. The USA has the lead. 2 sleds remain here in Konigssee.
Зубков Александр, брат Иркутск, Россия. Это моя команда. Сергей Голубев.
Алексей Селиверст. Дмитрий Степушкин. 4-man bob results so far for Zubkov. Bronze in Calgary, gold in Lake Placid, silver in Innsbruck. Did not start in Cortina. A couple of his guys were hurt. They sent him home for rehab, and he refused to compete with the lesser start team.
Especially on that tough track. Zubkov is the defending World Cup champion in 4-man. Only 0.06 of a second separates this Russian sled from the USA sled, with the lead down at the bottom.
485 start in the first run. Hayes and crew at a 481 this time, 486. So Hayes got better by 100. Zubkov got worse by 100. All things being equal, 500s at the top of the track is equal to 1500s at the bottom. Hayes should be the leader unless Zubkov has some wonderful drive line down this track. And now it's going to be down +8.
And it looks like a fairly good line.
Not that bump there. You could see the number 2 man slap sideways. That was a hard bump as he entered into the Kreisel. +8. He's going to have to be closer than that. Lost more time back. The only chance he's got is 122.5 kilometers on the exit of the Echo curve. He's lost more time.
121.1.
No speed at all.
Wow, very slow run. Uncharacteristic of the Russians. They finished with only the 8th best run of the heat.
Couldn't be worse.
0.3 of a second behind the celebrating Americans down at the bottom.
That run was ill-fated with the 500s deficient start. And the straightaway, he hit really hard. He didn't just brush that wall, he banged it hard. And here he comes. And out of that S-curve, he bumped there. Look at the speed.
15th best, wow.
Hayes and Holcomb were much better than he was at the speed, and look at the results on the bottom. The USA's got now at least a silver medal.
North America has won this race. Which nation will it be?
Pierre Lueders, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This is my team. Ken Kotick.
Morgan Alexander. Lascelles Brown.
John looking for the rare double-double.
On a German track, I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do it. 486 start time in the first heat. He was the first guy down. He had an advantage. And 486 again. But Lueders has been starting to gain momentum.
1/1800ths of a lead over the Americans, but down to 8.
Next clock's going to be crucial. If that thing drops down to 1 or 2 hundredths, Hayes was perfect on the bottom.
Still 8.
So he stopped the bleeding. And now look at the bump, a slight bump.
Oh,
remember we talked about the Russian? Yeah. Now look at the line. How consistent is this line? Little pressure point, put him up high. Minus 14, he's accelerating away.
Making a statement at the bottom.
Now watch the speed. I bet he's 122 plus, minus 15. He's continuing to accelerate. 122.5.
Ties for the best we've seen this heat.
And now Pierre Lueders, double gold medal in Germany.
Best run in all 4 heats of the 2-man and the 4-man. He won 4 heats this weekend. He wins 2 gold medals this weekend. Canada #1, the gold here. John, he experimented with sleds in the early going, but I think he's found the sled he wants. Thing took off at the bottom.
He's got a solid 4-man team behind him that he trusts. He's got a great coaching staff. He's got a fan club in Germany. Come on. I mean, this guy, we've seen him for many years, Tim. It's starting to come together for him.
There's a look at the standings. The USA places 3 sleds in the top 15. I'm heading down for the interviews. We'll be back to Konigssee in just a moment. Pierre Lueders, the winner.
Since